my great fear at this moment is that I'm about to put an end to all the fun, which I really hope is not the case, because I'm actually a lot of fun, but I've been asked to speak about home. So I'm here to kind of give the 10-minute talk that includes my own ramblings on what home means to me and why and how we find home in the theater. So I hope you can handle that. And I know all we really want to do is kind of get on with the party and the panels. And you look amazing in your costume. So here we go. If you can take a moment just to either close your eyes or think to yourself or put your head down and try to answer, finish this sentence, which is, home is blank to me. And I'm asking you to do this because I did this for the last 2 weeks. And if you could fill in that blank, and we all said our answers out loud, I have a feeling we would find as many answers as there are people in this room. In fact, I think there's probably no other word that could evoke so many meanings except for the word love. Right? I'm obsessed with the word home, and I have been since years of moving from New York to California in high school, where we kept switching homes, to various college dorm rooms, back to New York before 2 years at ART, followed by a stint at Trinity Rep before moving back to New York, where I blazed through several too expensive apartments and rat-infested apartments, which resulted in a period of 17 years in which I moved 19 times. I'm also one of those people who have made The Wizard of Oz the most watched movie of all times. And if you look on my bookshelf, you'd find one entire shelf devoted to titles like The Meaning of Home, The Longing for Home, The Performance of Home, The Poetics of Space, and The Zen of Oz. And sometimes at night, when I'm having trouble falling asleep, I put on House Hunters, which is a show about people searching for home. And in high school, I wrote a song for a musical called Take Me Back Home. And in my musical Dream True, I wrote a song called Finding Home. And last season with SpongeBob, I made a show that was all about home. SpongeBob trying to save his home, Pearl wanting to run away from home, Sandy missing her home but coming home to find a new community in Bikini Bottom, and Squidward, who only truly feels at home with his name in lights on the Great White Way. But what matters to me these days, and what I've been thinking about, is not the sense of being at home, but is actually missing home and what results from it, which is a search. Home is, to me, our place of origin and our final destination. So its identity is twofold. And what is that, Tina? You know, that's what happens. Identity is twofold. The home we remember, which causes the missing, and the home we dream of, which causes the search. And the search is what I think brings us poetry and relationships and Men on the Moon and Broadway shows. When I was in my 20s, I was sick in bed one day, and I turned on this 10-hour marathon TV show of a guy named John Bradshaw, who you might know. It was something called The Family, and it was a series of guided exercises designed to have us get in touch with our inner child. He sort of coined that phrase. I was told to close my eyes, and you can try this at home if you want, and recall one moment from when I was a toddler, age 3 or 4. And I remembered for the first time sitting outside in the playground in my backyard on one of those little horse things that have springs and go back and forth. And I remembered mostly the sunlight and the exact angle of the rays and how they made me feel. And what I recalled most vividly was the feeling of being free and safe and at home. And then Bradshaw asked us to jump ahead and recall an image from our childhoods between the ages of 6 to 9. And what came to me was a memory of standing outside my kitchen door, which I had gone in a million times and was always open, and on this particular day, it being locked. And I remember again the feeling, which was alone and confused and rejected. And in thinking of those two moments, which was really only a couple years in my life, I realized that I had somehow gone from feeling at home in the world to feeling displaced in it. Now, I, like most of us in this room, are really blessed to have had that feeling spring from something like a locked door, as opposed to the millions on the planet who experience it due to eviction or deportation, imprisonment, destruction of physical homes due to natural disasters and war, and we could go on. But I do believe, though our physical realities may differ, whether we're born into privilege or poverty and had happy childhoods or brutal ones, we all share, at our core, some kind of spiritual or emotional homesickness, a longing for home. So what is this thing? What is the home is blank? Last night I asked my girlfriend, because I still didn't know, I said, what is it? What does home mean to you? And has she experienced it in the theater? Has she experienced theater as home? And she answered yes. She felt that way in high school when she joined the drama club, and to quote her words, suddenly felt I had a place. She went on to say that as an actor, she felt at home because she could express parts of herself that she couldn't express in her real home. She could be angry or jealous or mean on stage, but not with her parents at home. So, is home the space to which you can bring all the parts of yourself and not just the pretty ones? Is home a feeling of safety, knowing you'll be cared for and protected? Is home the experience of being seen and known and above all accepted, not only by others, but also, perhaps most importantly, by yourself? Yes, and home is that for me. The word I keep coming back to is belonging. Belonging in a family or relationship or caste, and when you're truly at home in your own skin, and in these moments of grace, feeling at home even in the universe. But when do we get to feel this? Never, occasionally. But we all want to feel this, right? And because I think on some cellular level, now I'm going a little esoteric here, we carry a memory of it within us already. And yes, I'm talking about the womb. The enclosed, dark, safe space from which we emerge, which, by the way, sounds a lot like a theater to me. So we go through our lives longing to return to or find for the first time this space. And the desire for that feeling becomes what we do. We walk on roads, we go on journeys, we make art and make musicals and listen to cast albums as we search for home. We travel, we read, we find lovers, families, build structures, create communities, tell stories as we search for home. Which brings me to this, the theater, the home of our stories. I don't know if you all know the theories of Joseph Campbell that he puts forth in a book called The Hero with a Thousand Faces. There's a champion. His theory is that there's one story. He calls it the mono-myth that is told over and over and over in all cultures, in all times. And what did I write here? I crossed something out. But in different forms. That was very important that I wrote that. It's the story we need to tell and the one that defines us. It's a story that follows the pattern of the seasons or night turning to day, and it's a story always about going away from home and returning to home. And there we find Odysseus and Aeneas and Dorothy, of course, and Luke Skywalker and so many others. And we find, I looked today, almost every show that's running on Broadway right now. They're all versions of the monomyth and the hero story, from Harry Potter, Wicked, To Kill a Mockingbird, The Lion King, Hamilton. I went through the whole list. And there's Hairspray and Millie and How to Succeed and Billy Elliot, Sound of Music, Cabaret, Man of La Mancha. Truly, they are versions of the monomyth all. And the audiences, as audiences for these shows, when you go to them or listen to them, you connect, therefore, to something mythical and subliminal. The monomyth provides the familiarity. And when you connect with the specifics of character, are able to identify, when you see yourself represented on stage in a show, the most important, when we see lost or hidden parts of ourselves brought into light on a stage and treated with compassion and love, then too we find a form of home. I'm on my last page. As people making these shows, we hope for connection as well, to reach across the footlights and feel something back. And in the meantime, we put ourselves in rooms with collaborators we quickly call family. We establish routines like our warm-ups and signing in and how we decorate our dressing rooms. We operate in a space where everyone's contribution matters and couldn't be excised, from the director to props to the second electrician. Yay, electricians. And when we go into a theater, most anywhere in the world, unless we're doing something site-specific or really outside the box, we recognize its signifiers as our own. The stage, the house, right? We call it a house. Its aisles and fly rails and ghost lights. These we know like our own front door. So we make theater and we see theater, all of us in this room, on some level as a search for home, and sometimes it becomes that and we find it. The theater can be a home because it offers us intimacy, familiarity. It offers us safety as we attempt the impossible and splay open our souls and expose our vulnerabilities and know it's okay. It's a space where all, including the me or the you, riddled with shame or doubt or self-loathing, yes, all, including me and you, are welcome. So today, I ask that we continue to share and expand this home of the theater that we all share, that we offer to others, not in this room, the refuge and the comfort that we've all surely found sometime in our lives. May Broadway be a home for an ever larger family of theater makers of every race, class, religion, country of origin, immigration status, disability, age, gender identity, or sexual orientation, who are making stories about and for audiences and fans of every race, class, religion, country of origin, immigration status, disability, age, gender, identity, or sexual orientation. May you search for and find a home in the theater. May you find a home here today at this conference. And know that when we all are saying to you, welcome to Broadway Con, we are in fact saying, welcome home. Thank you.
The simply magnificent Tina Landau. Thank you. That was beautiful.